Your mind is the steering wheel of your destiny, and every single thought you entertain is like turning that wheel in a certain direction. Most people don't realize it, but their life is not being shaped by circumstances, luck, or even the people around them. It's being shaped by the silent, constant flow of thoughts that occupy their mind from morning until night. You could wake up with the most incredible potential. You could have opportunities knocking at your door. But if your mind is dominated by negative patterns, you will unconsciously steer away from those opportunities and into situations that match the vibration of your thoughts. The truth is, your mind is not passive. It is an active force, constantly working to move your life toward whatever it's most focused on. If that focus is fear, doubt, or resentment, you'll be guided toward experiences that confirm those feelings. But if your focus is on possibility, growth, and gratitude, you'll be guided toward experiences that expand you and open new doors. Think about it like this. Every thought carries an emotional charge, and every emotional charge sets up a frequency, a signal that goes out into the world. This signal draws back experiences, people, and events that are on the same frequency. When you let negative feelings run your mind, you are sending out a broadcast of limitation. That broadcast tells the world, I expect struggle, I expect disappointment, I expect things not to work out for me. And the world obliges by giving you exactly what you've been expecting. It's not that life is cruel, it's that life is neutral and simply reflects back the images you keep turning over in your mind. If you want to win in life, you must take hold of the steering wheel with conscious intent. That means you stop allowing random, unwanted thoughts to dominate your inner world. You replace reaction with direction. When something unpleasant happens, instead of replaying it and reinforcing the negative energy, you shift your mind toward what you actually want. This isn't about ignoring reality. It's about taking authority over your mental state so you can create a new reality. The moment you understand that your thoughts are not fixed, that you can choose them, you regain control over your destiny. It's very much like driving a car down a long, winding road. If you let go of the wheel for even a short time, the car will drift. It may start small, just a slight pull toward the shoulder, but the longer you wait to correct it, the further you go off course. Eventually, you may find yourself in a ditch and wonder, how did I get here? That's what happens in life when you neglect the discipline of steering your mind. You drift into negativity, you drift into fear, and before long, you're living a life that doesn't even resemble the one you wanted. The key is to keep your hands firmly on that wheel, to guide your thoughts toward the destination you've chosen, no matter what bumps appear in the road. Now, here's something most people overlook. You can't steer toward success while constantly looking in the rear-view mirror. If you keep replaying old mistakes, past failures, or the times life didn't go your way, you're using the most powerful tool you have, your mind, to drive backward. The past is a place to learn from, not a place to live in. The only reason those old feelings have any power over you today is because you keep thinking about them, and in doing so, you keep them alive in your present. The moment you shift your focus forward, you begin to loosen their grip. When you understand this, you begin to treat every thought as a choice. You stop letting your mind wander aimlessly into worry or self-criticism, and you start deliberately choosing ideas that build the future you want. You begin to fill your mental screen with images of what you want to experience, and you hold those images until they start to feel real to you. This is not daydreaming. This is navigation. You're programming your inner GPS, and once it's programmed, your mind will start guiding you toward people, ideas, and actions that match the destination you've set. Some people think they need to wait until their feelings improve before they can think positively, but it works the other way around. The moment you start choosing better thoughts, even before you feel ready, your feelings begin to shift. At first, it might feel unnatural, like forcing a stiff steering wheel to turn, but the more you practice, the smoother it becomes. Soon, your mind begins to default toward possibility rather than limitation, towards solutions rather than problems. Your mind is always creating, and it's creating according to the direction you give it. The tragedy is that many people hand over the wheel to outside influences, the news, social media, other people's opinions, and then wonder why their life doesn't feel like their own. The truth is, if you're not steering your own mind, someone else will. And the moment you allow someone else to steer, you are living according to their vision, not yours. Taking the wheel back is an act of responsibility, but it's also an act of freedom, because it means you no longer have to be a victim of your moods, your circumstances, or your past. You cannot control everything that happens in life, but you can control how you think about what happens, and that alone will determine the direction you take. When you truly grasp that your mind is the steering wheel of your destiny, you begin to treat every thought as sacred, every mental image as a blueprint, and every feeling as a guidepost showing you. Whether you're on the road to your dreams or drifting away from them, negative feelings are not enemies. They are simply messengers. They are signals telling you that something in your thinking is out of alignment with who you truly are and what you are capable of. Too often, people see negative feelings as a permanent state, as if sadness, fear, or frustration are proof that life is against them. In reality, feelings are feedback. They are like the warning lights on a car dashboard. They don't mean the car is useless. They mean something needs attention. When you understand this, you stop being afraid of negative emotions and start using them as information to guide your growth. Every feeling you experience is born out of a thought. You may not even notice the thought because it can be so quick, but it's always there. The thought creates the feeling, and the feeling then influences the way you see the world. If the thought is "I'm not good enough," or "this will never work," the feeling that follows will naturally be discouragement or fear. But if you can catch the thought and change it, you can shift the feeling that follows. This is why mastering your feelings begins with mastering your thinking. When you treat feelings as signals, you stop judging yourself for having them. You realize there is no shame in feeling doubt, anxiety, or frustration. Those feelings are simply telling you that your current perspective is not serving you. If you respond to the signal, you can adjust your perspective and change your state. But if you react impulsively by lashing out, withdrawing, or reinforcing the negative story, you end up digging the hole deeper. Responding means pausing, observing the feeling, asking yourself what thought created it, and then consciously deciding how to move forward. For example, imagine you receive criticism from someone at work. If your immediate thought is "I'm a failure," or "they don't respect me," you will feel hurt, angry, or defensive. But if you pause and recognize that the criticism is just one person's perspective, and that it might even contain something useful for your improvement, your feelings will shift from defensiveness to curiosity or determination. The event hasn't changed, your interpretation has, and that changes everything. The mistake many people make is letting feelings become the driver rather than the passenger. When you let negative emotions take the wheel, they will pull you toward choices that keep you in the same cycle. Anger may push you to burn bridges, fear may keep you from taking risks, resentment may block you from building new relationships. But when you recognize that the feeling is just a signal, and that you, not the feeling, get to decide the next move, you regain control over your life. It's important to understand that feelings are energy in motion. They are meant to flow through you, not stay stuck inside you. When you suppress them, you trap that energy, and it will resurface in other ways, sometimes as stress, health issues, or sudden emotional outbursts. Responding to a feeling doesn't mean pushing it away. It means acknowledging it, understanding the thought behind it, and then redirecting your focus towards something that empowers you. This is how you let the energy move without letting it dictate your path. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is to stop saying, "I am angry," or "I am sad," and instead say, "I am feeling anger," or "I am feeling sadness." The difference is subtle but profound. The first statement identifies you with the emotion, making it part of your identity. The second recognizes it as a temporary experience, something passing through you. When you see feelings this way, they lose their power to define you. You no longer think, "I'm an anxious person." Instead, you think, "I'm feeling anxiety right now," which means my thoughts are focused on something uncertain. So how can I shift that? This approach also helps you to see that feelings, even the uncomfortable ones, can be valuable. Fear can alert you to genuine danger or signal that you're stepping into unfamiliar territory that will help you grow. Frustration can reveal that you're ready for more than your current circumstances. Sadness can show you what you truly care about. When you respond to feelings as information rather than problems, you turn them into tools for personal transformation. It's also worth noticing that negative feelings tend to lose their grip when exposed to light, meaning awareness. When you take the time to examine them, name them, and understand them, you strip them of their ability to control you from the shadows. This is why journaling, reflection, or even honest conversations with trusted people can be so powerful. They force you to bring unconscious feelings into conscious awareness, where you can respond with clarity rather than react in confusion. At the same time, it's important not to let feelings be the only compass you use for decision making. Feelings are influenced by many things: your thoughts, your physical state, even what you ate or how much you slept. They can be misleading if taken at face value. This is why you must combine emotional awareness with clear thinking and vision. The signal from your feelings is valuable, but it needs to be interpreted in the context of your long-term goals and values. When you truly understand that feelings are signals and not masters, you step into a new level of personal power. You are no longer thrown off course every time a wave of negativity washes over you, because you know that wave is just an indicator, not a destiny. You stop fearing emotions and start navigating them with the same confidence a sailor navigates changing winds, adjusting the sails, staying focused on the destination, and using every shift in direction to your advantage. Your results are a direct reflection of the images you hold in your mind. Life doesn't just respond to your wishes. It responds to the dominant pictures you carry day after day, whether you are conscious of them or not. The mind operates like a projector, and the images you feed it are what get displayed on the screen of your life. If you constantly feed it images of fear, failure, and limitation, Your outer world will arrange itself to match those pictures. On the other hand, when you deliberately choose to hold images of abundance, success, health, and fulfillment, your actions, habits, and opportunities begin to align with those images, and your results start to shift. Most people think they are in control of their life, but in reality, they are living on autopilot, playing out the same mental pictures they've been carrying for years. Those pictures often come from childhood experiences, societal conditioning, or repeated disappointments. Without realizing it, they replay the same mental movie over and over again, and because the mind works with whatever material it's given, they continue to produce the same outcomes. If you want to create a different result, you must change the picture because the picture is the blueprint. This is why simply wishing for a better life isn't enough. If your dominant mental image contradicts your wish, the image will always win. For example, you might say you want financial freedom, but if the picture you carry is one of always struggling, always behind on bills, your mind will guide your behavior and decision making in a way that matches that picture. You'll hesitate to take opportunities, you'll make choices based on fear of loss, and you'll unintentionally recreate the same financial struggle. But when you start seeing yourself as someone who already has abundance, when you hold that image with clarity and conviction, your actions shift. You think bigger, you take bolder steps, and you naturally attract ideas and situations that support the image you've been holding. The power of mental imagery is that it works on both the conscious and subconscious level. Consciously, it gives you direction. Subconsciously, it influences your habits, your energy, and even the way others perceive you. People respond not just to what you say, but to the energy you radiate, and that energy comes directly from the images dominating your mind. This is why two people can walk into the same room, one radiating confidence and possibility, the other radiating self, doubt, and have completely different experiences. The difference isn't luck, it's the mental pictures they've been carrying. Changing the image requires deliberate effort because your current mental pictures have been reinforced over years. You have to replace them with new ones and hold those new pictures long enough for them to take root. Visualization is one of the most effective tools for doing this. When you close your eyes and vividly imagine yourself living the life you desire, seeing it, hearing it, feeling it, you send a message to your subconscious that this is the reality you expect. The subconscious doesn't know the difference between something vividly imagined and something real. It begins working to bridge the gap. It's important to go beyond vague images and get specific. If you want a healthier body, don't just imagine yourself being fit. Picture yourself running up a flight of stairs with ease, wearing clothes you feel great in, moving with energy and freedom. If you want success in your career, don't just think about earning more. Imagine the exact environment you're working in, the way people respond to you, the way you carry yourself when you walk into a meeting. The more detail you add, the more real it becomes in your mind, and the faster your outer world begins to adjust to match it. You also need to protect your new images from being contaminated by doubt or negativity. If you spend time each morning visualizing your goals, but then spend the rest of the day talking about how hard life is or how unlikely it is that you'll succeed, you're sending mixed signals to your mind. The dominant image will still be the one fed most often, so you must align yourself, your environment, and your actions with the new picture. This might mean limiting time with people who constantly reinforce old, limiting images, and surrounding yourself with influences that support the new vision you've chosen. There's also a subtle but powerful shift that happens when you start holding a better image. Your self-concept changes. You stop identifying as someone who's trying and start identifying as someone who already is. This shift in identity affects every decision you make. You'll naturally reject opportunities that don't align with your vision, and you'll feel drawn toward those that do. The more you live in alignment with the image, the faster it becomes your reality. Your imagination is the workshop where your future is built. Everything that exists in your life today first existed as an image in your mind, whether you were aware of it or not. That means if you want different results, you must become intentional about the images you create and the ones you allow to stay. This isn't pretending or wishful thinking. It's the conscious use of one of the most powerful tools you have. When you shift the image, you shift the outcome, because life cannot help but reflect back the dominant picture you carry in your mind. Language is one of the most powerful forces shaping your reality, and the words you speak are constantly programming your mind. Every time you say, "I can't," you are placing a mental barrier in front of yourself, and that barrier becomes part of your identity. Those two words are not just a description of a current limitation. They are a command to your subconscious to stop looking for solutions. When you declare, "I can't do this," your mind shuts down creativity, resourcefulness, and possibility. You train yourself to see only the wall, never the door. Over time, these small declarations accumulate, forming an invisible prison that keeps you from even attempting the things that could change your life. Replacing "I can't" with "I'm learning to" completely shifts the mental framework. The moment you say, "I'm learning to," you acknowledge that you might not have mastered something yet, but you are in the process of growing into it. Instead of sending a message of finality to your mind, you send a message of possibility. You give yourself permission to be in progress, to try, to improve, and to expand your capabilities. This change in language opens the door for action, and action is what transforms ability. Think about how this works in everyday situations. If someone asks you to speak in front of a group and you respond with, "I can't speak in public," you have instantly shut the door on that experience and any growth it could bring. Your brain won't even attempt to find a way because you've already declared it impossible. But if you say, "I'm learning to speak in public," your mind starts searching for ways to make that statement true. It might prompt you to read about public speaking, practice with friends, or take a small opportunity to speak in a safe environment. That single shift in language plants the seed for growth. The words you use shape not only how you see yourself, but also how others see you. When you say, "I can't," you project helplessness and people start to treat you accordingly. When you say, "I'm learning to," you project openness and ambition, and people respond with encouragement, support, and opportunities. This isn't just about sounding positive. It's about aligning your language with the reality you want to create. People are drawn to those who are moving forward, even if they're not there yet, because progress is magnetic. The brain is highly suggestible, and it believes what you repeatedly tell it. If you consistently tell yourself you can't do something, your mind will find evidence to confirm that belief. You'll remember past failures, focus on current weaknesses, and overlook any signs of improvement. But if you consistently affirm that you are learning, your mind will look for evidence of progress. It will notice small wins, moments of courage, and opportunities to grow. This is how language shifts perception, and perception shifts action. There is also a psychological freedom in using "I'm learning to." It removes the pressure of perfection and allows you to take imperfect steps forward. One of the reasons people get stuck is because they believe they have to be good at something before they even start. They tell themselves, if I can't do it perfectly, I won't do it at all. And that mindset keeps them paralyzed. But when you frame it as a learning process, mistakes become part of the journey instead of proof of inadequacy. You allow yourself to experiment, to fail, and to try again without self-condemnation. This shift in language also changes how you handle challenges. When you operate from an "I can't" mindset, challenges feel like confirmation that you're not capable. You see them as signs to turn back. But when you operate from an "I'm learning to" mindset, challenges become training. They are not roadblocks, they are stepping stones. Instead of avoiding difficulty, you approach it with curiosity, asking, "What can I take from this? How does this help me grow?" This perspective keeps you moving forward even when progress feels slow. Another hidden benefit is how "I'm learning to" activates persistence. Learning implies a process, and a process implies time and repetition. This naturally builds resilience because you no longer expect overnight success. You understand that improvement comes in stages, and you are more willing to stay with something until you see results. This is why people who adopt a learning mindset often outperform those who start with more natural talent. They are willing to keep going long after others give up. It's important to notice that the language you use with yourself in your mind is just as important as the language you speak out loud. Many people never say "I can't" to others but say it silently to themselves dozens of times a day. These silent declarations are just as damaging because your subconscious hears them all. To truly shift, you must be vigilant about catching the internal "I can't" and replacing it with "I'm learning to" every time it appears. The change may feel awkward at first, especially if you've been speaking in limiting terms for years. But with repetition, the new language becomes natural, and as it becomes natural, your self-image begins to transform. You start to see yourself not as someone who is blocked, but as someone who is capable and growing. That identity shapes your behavior, and your behavior shapes your results. It all begins with the seemingly small choice to change 2 words, and with those 2 words, you take back control over the direction of your life. Emotion follows action, and this single truth can change the entire way you approach life. Most people wait for the right feeling before they take action. They wait to feel confident before starting a business, to feel motivated before going to the gym, or to feel inspired before pursuing a dream. But feelings are often the result of action, not the cause of it. When you act as if you are already winning, even when you don't feel like it, you begin to generate the very emotions you thought you needed first. The energy you project through your actions sends a powerful message to your mind and to the world around you, and that message starts to shape your reality. When you act as if you're already living the life you want, you put yourself in the mindset and posture of the person who would naturally attract that life. If your goal is to be successful in your career, start dressing, speaking, and making decisions as if you're already operating at that level. If your goal is to be healthy and fit, start moving, eating, and living as someone who values their health every single day. You don't wait for the scale to show a certain number or for the promotion to come. You start behaving as the person you intend to become right now. This approach works because action influences identity, and identity influences feelings. When you repeatedly take actions that are aligned with a winning version of yourself, you begin to see yourself differently. That shift in self-image changes how you think, how you carry yourself, and how others perceive you. Over time, this creates a cycle. Your actions reinforce your identity shapes your feelings, and your feelings drive more of the same winning actions. The process feeds itself, but it starts with the decision to act before you feel ready. It's important to understand that acting as if is not about pretending to be someone you're not or living in denial of your current reality. It's about choosing behaviors that align with your desired future rather than your current limitations. You acknowledge where you are, but you refuse to let that dictate how you show up. You move as if your vision is already true, and in doing so, you begin to bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Think of it like an athlete training for a championship. They don't wait until the day they win to start thinking and acting like a champion. Long before the trophy is in their hands, they are practicing, preparing, and carrying themselves with the discipline, focus, and confidence of someone who is already at the top. That mindset fuels their performance and gives them the edge they need to win. In the same way, when you embody the version of yourself who has already achieved your goal, you naturally start making choices that bring you closer to it. Another reason this works so powerfully is that your brain is highly responsive to cues from your body and environment. The way you dress, the way you walk, the tone of your voice, all of these send signals to your brain about how to feel. If you slump your shoulders, speak in a low tone, and avoid eye contact, your brain receives the message that you are uncertain or defeated, and it will generate emotions to match. But if you stand tall, speak clearly, and look people in the eye, your brain receives the message that you are confident and capable, and your feelings begin to align with that state. This is also why momentum is so important. The first step might feel forced, but once you start moving, your body and mind begin to sync, and the movement creates energy. If you've ever pushed yourself to start a workout when you didn't feel like it, and found yourself feeling energized halfway through, you've experienced this principle. The action generated the emotion. Waiting for the emotion first would have left you sitting still, but moving created the shift. It's worth noting that acting as if you are already winning also affects how others treat you. People respond to confidence, decisiveness, and clarity. When you carry yourself as someone who knows where they're going, others tend to believe in you more, offer you more opportunities, and take your ideas more seriously. You create an atmosphere where others can see your potential because you are consistently demonstrating it through your actions. Consistency is key in this process. One confident action won't rewrite your identity, but a steady pattern of showing up as your winning self will. Over time, it becomes less about acting and more about simply being. The habits you develop through this approach begin to feel natural, and the gap between the person you are and the person you want to be disappears. You are no longer pretending. You have become the very person you set out to emulate. Even in moments of doubt or difficulty, this principle holds. You may face setbacks, failures, or criticism, but if you continue to act in alignment with your vision, those moments won't define you. Instead, they become part of your journey, challenges that the winning version of you knows how to navigate. By holding that posture and maintaining those actions, you prove to yourself that you can handle whatever comes, which further strengthens your confidence and resilience. The power lies in the decision to stop waiting for the perfect emotional state and to start living as if the future you desire is already yours. The moment you choose to act from that place, you stop being a passive participant in your life and become an active creator of it.